Well, welcome everybody. Today the topic is top thoughts. Top thoughts. And if you're like me, there's certain things that you want to do, places that you want to go, goals you want to reach, or just things you think you need in order to change your life situation. See, we anticipate success. We even get started in a positive direction at times, but so often we stay in what seems like our self-appointed circle or cycle. And we find ourselves starting over again and again and again. We want to lose weight and get in shape, but that weight just seems to come back on. We want our finances to increase, but our money seems to just keep dwindling away at an alarming rate. We want a better marriage, yet we keep bickering about the same thing over and over and over. You see, we want a true friend or lover, but we keep running into those same type of people. We want, we need, we dream, we yearn. Yet some of those deep-hearted desires seem as close as they are elusive. We keep starting over. Why? Is there a way to break this cycle? Is there a way to get to and stay at that next level and not slip back? And the answer is yes. There's a quote from Leonardo da Vinci. He said, "Iron rusts from disuse. Water loses its purity from stagnation. Even so does inaction sap the vigor of the mind." Today, let's explore the answers to this endless loop, this epic optical illusion, this retrograde rodeo, this action-inaction cycle. Today, let's see if we can figure out how the introduction of top thoughts are going to stop the erosion of our convictions and help us reacquire and rebuild what is rightfully ours. See, with the reintroduction of top thoughts, our life can return to its original design, the way our life was meant to be. And the reason I'm talking about this is this past week, this conversation kept coming up over and over and over again about people, they just didn't know what to think. They were, even myself, I found myself saying things about myself I shouldn't have, and I'd have to change that. And other people, and then we would talk about you have to put better thoughts in there. And these aren't just people who are Christians. It just came up over and over. And so I thought about top thoughts, or apex thoughts would be this next section. And so in order to change the landscape of our lives, we have to learn to consistently reintroduce top thoughts. And those top thoughts will finally do the work that we've spent a lifetime trying to accomplish. If we find ourselves not accomplishing the goals, not having the money that we need, not having whatever we need, there has to be a reason. And there has to be an answer. If God says He promises to supply all our need, so what's going on? These top thoughts, I was thinking, how would we know them if they hit us in the face? Where do we find these power phrases? Is it random? Just pick out a verse, or you click onto any old blog or positive thinking thing, and it may bless you, but is that what you really need at that point? Sometimes it's the right thing at the right time, and this is where it gets a little harder. It's not complex. It's finding the right words to help us live the life that we dream of living, or to fulfill our calling. Sometimes that's the most important thing. And at some point, one or the other of these is always the quest of every human being. It's, I want to do this or that in life, or I need to fulfill my calling of who I am. And many people in society find their calling. They help others in many different ways. There's a lot of great professions. It's not just a preacher or a minister or somebody who does things. It's a lot of people touch people. There's many places to find top thoughts. Education, blogs, grandma's pithy sayings, motivational speakers. You see coaches, philosophers, holy men and women, and my favorite, the different versions of the Bible. Sometimes one doesn't speak to me and another one really does. And I like that. Or sometimes one did and doesn't anymore because I get numb to it. And, now notice I didn't say religion, because religion is simply a system used to control people instead of being a map to set them free. There's a difference. Truth and only truth is what sets people free. And as hard as it may seem, truth is not limited to your particular group, to your particular culture, or to your particular religion. Romans 12:2 from the Message. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what He wants from you and quickly respond to it, unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity. God brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you. I love that term, develops well-formed maturity in you. Because a mature self is somebody who can get things done. I was saying, at first glance, that version seems to take the thinking pressure off of us and place it on God. And then I had to read it a few times until I really got it. And a deeper look exposes a deeper truth. See, as we place the amazing thoughts of God into our amazing little heads, you see, we're going to be transformed from the inside out. And those top thoughts immediately go to work. And all we need to do is to keep them coming. See, the right thoughts into our minds will work even when we're sleeping. They work when you're awake. They work when you're at work. It's working all the time. Romans 12:2 from another version, the NLT, says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. When you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good, then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. See, the thoughts of God, they can't transform a person unless that person wants to be transformed. Those thoughts can't transform a person unless that person changes the way that they think. See, if we wonder why we just keep hitting this endless loop, why we just can't get out of that situation, can't lose the weight, can't get that money, can't find that person, whatever your thing is, there's something in there, or we're either missing something or there's something in there that shouldn't be in our mind, in our hearts, in our believing, in our lives. It has to be. If everything's already been supplied, yet we don't have it, what's missing? Or what shouldn't be there? I mean, if what God wants for us is good and pleasing and perfect, that's got to be good. What's better than perfect? We all want to be pleased. We all like good. This is the object lesson of this teaching. We and we alone must introduce those power phrases into our brains, our hearts, and our conversations. Is it easy? No. because the whole world is in this loop. In fact, the world has a loop that it sucks us into, sort of a vortex, and you just get stuck in that thing. Now a section I'm going to call the instinct of reason. Scientists say that instinct is one thing and that reason is another. And some even go as far as saying, quote, instinct is no match for reason. And others believe that reason is no match for instinct. And some people think that we're evolving into more and more perfect peoples. And other people think we're de-evolving into lesser and lesser species. I don't know, and I don't really care. I have enough to think about with controlling my own head. But we can change. We can change. See, I believe in a blend of reason and instinct, and that humans have a little bit of instinct as well as the instinct to reason. Now, I tried to look this up and I couldn't find any topics on this because they all separate them. Like you think of a bird, a robin. It's going to come back every year and build a nest near the area where it was before. And the same type of nest. Now, a sparrow will do the same thing but build a different style of nest. Who taught them to build nests? Well, that would be instinct, right? How does a salmon know how to go back upriver to where it was spawned? It's just built into the blueprint, the fabric of their being. And we think, well, people don't have instinct. Well, answer me this then. Why does a baby cry? Why does a baby immediately start nursing when it's born? How does it know to do that? It's instinct. There's some things that are just instinctual, even in humans. Probably a few more than we really realize. But by far, we're not like the animals, other animals, I should say. You know, we don't just live by instinct. We have an instinct to reason. That's our instinct, is curiosity, like a child has. That's the way humans are designed. You see, an instinct is something you don't need to learn. Reason is something you do need to learn. You know, ducklings waddle behind their mother. Why? It's just built into them. They just know to do it. You see, giraffes, they'll drop that baby, they'll stand up and that baby just falls, hits the ground, and then stands up on these wobbly legs. How long does it take for a human child to walk? 9 months, a year, something? You know, it's just wild. You know, by nature, we want to figure out, we humans always want to figure out a better way. Let's move this room around. Let's change this. Let me try a new haircut. Let me try a new we're always doing something. Try to find a better way to build that house, a better tool to save you time and money, whatever it is, a faster computer, whatever. How many projects, I think about, by nature, we want to figure out a better way all the time. Isn't that why Google's so popular? You basically can know anything. You basically have access to the knowledge of the world in your fingertips, in your little smartphone. It's crazy what's available now. And if you're a visual learner, you have YouTube, right? How many projects have been completed by a total ignoramus who watched a YouTube video? I do it all the time. It's crazy. We're wired that way. We want to learn. We want to do. We have an instinct to reason. I was in the office of a man who was retiring, and he was beginning to unclutter his workspace this last week. And he asked me if I wanted a full set of encyclopedias. Otherwise, he was going to throw them away because he knew that even these charity places won't take them. Because even poor people have smartphones now. And I said, why would I ever need a set of encyclopedias? I got the internet at my fingertips on a smartphone. He said, yeah, I know. And so I thought about how the world's changed. And we just want to get smarter. We want to know more. You look something, you wonder who that song's by. Beep, 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 then you know. Whereas before you just not know. You'd wait for some DJ to actually tell you who it was. Regarding the instinct of reason, it's important to understand the hard work necessary to change a life. See, great accomplishments seldom happen organically. You can't just pray and the house just starts building itself. Yet we want it to. You can't just pray about losing weight and keep eating the way that you're eating. Or me, it doesn't work that way. But we want it to. But our reason tells us no. But our heart says yes. I've had numerous conversations with my business partner about why so many devout Christians have similar financial problems as they age. It was a great conversation. And this man is an amazing financial planner, and he considers himself a Christian, but he wasn't raised as a churchgoer. So he didn't have a lot of religion in his head, especially denominational specific. And he's noticed that a lot of religious people take on the attitude when it comes to investing or saving, and it's all going to work out someday. It's all going to work out someday. So they don't get life insurance. They don't plan for their retirement. And then one day it hits them, what have I done? Because it's all going to work out someday. And because of that logic, they wait so long to get started in preparing for their financial future that money has scarce little time to work for them. You've heard of time, money. Time is money. Well, time and money together is amazing. And they tell themselves that God will cover for them financially because they've devoted their lives to Him. It sounds good, but it's a bit of a cop-out. Expecting God to make us rich because we're involved in a particular ministry is as crazy as expecting God to remove the fat from our bodies because we're nice people. Everyone knows that to lose weight takes crazy discipline, diet, and exercise. I hate it. You can't do what you did when you were 17 or 20 or 25. What's up with that? Everyone, the same is true with building wealth. And, God did say that He will supply all our need. And a lot of Christians just end it there. My God's going to supply all my need according to His riches and glory. Well, yeah, that's one verse out of thousands of verses. Doesn't He also say that in order to receive, you have to do what? Believe. You have to believe. The whole faith works continuum. I was thinking about how, God, because God said He'll supply all our need, He also said that we must believe in order to receive. It's a two-part process. It's two ingredients in here, in your little beaker, on your Bunsen burner of believing. And James 2:22 through 24 from the Message says, Isn't it obvious that faith and works are yoked partners, and that faith expresses itself in works? That the works are works of faith? The full meaning of believe in the scripture sentence, Abraham believed God and was set right with God, end of quote, includes his action. That's a mesh of believing and acting that got Abraham named God's friend. Is it not evident that a person is made right with God not by barren fruit, but by faith, fruitful in works? Now, James was the half-brother of Jesus. Jesus knew how, James, because of his relationship with his brother, knew how this thing worked and knew that it takes work to get things done. To say you believe and to not put in the work, it's foolishness. It's foolhardiness. So to take part of a verse, God will supply all my need, that's like saying it's all going to work out someday. I don't need to save. I don't need to work. I don't need to try. It's craziness, folks. That's why so many Christians are just buffoons in this world, because they take just pieces of verses instead of the whole package. It's more. We're going to get to an example in a moment here that I think will bless you. See, believing's hard work. Now, miracles can happen. Miracles do happen. But we can't plan for miracles. Okay, God, let me see, you need a miracle on Tuesday, and I need this kind of miracle or that kind of miracle, and you're writing all these miracle goals down. It doesn't work that way. You see, we expect miracles, but at the same time, we must push ourselves in the direction of the miraculous. Push ourselves in the direction of the miraculous. Or just try to make that miracle happen all by yourself. Then you're sort of heading in the right direction. Do something. Action, action, action. We humans have a little bit of instinct and a built-in desire to figure out how to accomplish a task. Believing is both knowing things are going to work out and then doing everything in our power to make it happen. See, the instinct of reason is utilizing that inborn curiosity of a child combined with the dogged determination of a hero. That's believing. Those are top thoughts. Now, our personal Yellowstone. And I'm going to show you how the reintroduction of special power words, call them apex thoughts, call them top thoughts, into our personal ecosystem, will allow us to reclaim our turf. And once these specific words are set into our inner awareness, or sent in to our inner awareness in the proper amounts, you see, they're going to change the environment of our brains, our lives, our fortunes, our desires. Folks, this stuff works. It's in the Word in so many ways. It's in every religion. It's in every motivational speaker's repertoire. It works. It always has worked. It always will work. It's because this is how God designed a human to work. This is reason. See, over the past 100 years, the aspen, willow, and cottonwood trees had all but vanished from Yellowstone National Park. But over the past 20 years, they're beginning to return and to flourish again. And with the resurgence of those trees comes more food and shelter for the beaver. And those beavers construct dams, which makes ponds, and that attract fish and amphibians, which in turn attracts birds and songbirds and insects. You see, and then fields once chewed down to almost nothing by the overabundant elk population are now aspen stands teeming with life. The coyotes that killed off much of the small game are now back under control. And those beavers and those badgers and other furry creatures, now they're beginning to flourish again without that level of predator. And how did it all change? See, the complex ecosystem of Yellowstone was changed in 1995 by the reintroduction of one single species, the apex predator, the top dog, the wolf. See, 31 Canadian wolves were released into Yellowstone, and they split off into packs. And they changed the entire landscape of that massive national park. And the wolves did this by culling the overpopulated elk herds and driving them out of the meadows and deeper into the trees. And now certain packs became equally adept at taking down the enormous buffalo that were sick or genetically weak. And wolves by nature don't like sharing their kill with the crafty coyote. So they brought that population back into balance as well. See, now the bottomlands and the meadows teem with the songbirds and wildlife that's natural to that area. The apex predator was the key to healing the unhealthy ecosystem of Yellowstone. Likewise, top thoughts, alpha thoughts, do the same for us. Once we release them into our mind and keep adding to them, keep introducing more and more and more of these top thoughts, these words and phrases will set things straight. They'll back the enemy thoughts, the negative thoughts deeper into the recesses. See, that go-to phrase, our favorite verse that we use during every single difficult time, is not good enough, folks, or you would have everything that you needed. See, it may help for a day or two, but it's not going to help you in the long run. It can't change your life. It can't change your ecosystem, your Yellowstone. You see, we need a variety. We need pack mentality. We need a pack of thoughts. And those different packs of wolves they moved to different parts of Yellowstone. They totally take care of different things. It sort of shocked the researchers how that would happen. Some live in the meadows, some live deep in the woods. They all do different things. They just took that on. We need that in us too. See, we need a pack of thoughts to take down those really tough and diverse problems. There's sometimes we have things that it's hard to sort out. Why me? I've been a good boy. Why did this happen to me? We've all asked that at a time or two. Why can't I get traction in this? Why can't I find this or that or this person or that person? Whatever it is. See, we need multiple verses. We need a platitude of positive affirmations, quotes. We need quality quotes. And we need plenty of positive adjectives to reset our mindset. See, we need something greater than our present selves to make ourselves greater in the present. 2 Corinthians 10:5, King James says, bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience. You control it all. I noticed myself this last week. I was saying bad stuff about myself. It was weird. I'm not usually a negative guy. I'm a fairly happy chap, but I don't know what, it was ugly and it was bad weather for a couple of days. And for some reason, and a few people told me, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I don't want to get out of bed. I can't stand it. And it was weird. And I sort of was feeling the same way. And I think, how could the environment do that? But it does. It does. See, we should evaluate every thought. Every thought should be thought about before we release it into the environment of our mind. To release more elk into Yellowstone would have been foolish. More buffalo, more coyotes. It wouldn't have done any good. It would have hurt things. To put one wolf in there would do nothing. It took packs because they all specialize and they work together. Thoughts work together, folks. They'll work together in your mind. You're never going to eradicate, negative thoughts. They're always going to be there because of how we were raised in the world that we live in. But we can back them into the inner darkness there, you see, and the center of our cognitive being can be light, can be powerful, can be real. I ask myself, how is this word affecting me? Or how do my words affect somebody else? You can see them. So you ever said too much to somebody? And then it's like, I guess none of you have, right? You say too much and then it's like, oh God, and then it's hard to come back from that one. It's like trying to put a cat back in the bag. And the more you try, the more you're going to get scratched up, you see? Like one time I asked a woman, I only did it one time, when are you due? Well, she wasn't expecting, And it was a client. There was no way I could come back from that one. So I've learned you never do that. Just like you don't touch a woman's belly, unless they tell you can. It's just, there's some things, but it's crazy. Life is nuts at times. We're going to read that same section from another version. And I love how the different angles of thought and different versions they help us employ a different mindset. So now it's 2 Corinthians 10, 3-6 from the Message. It's like that verse I read a moment ago, bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Here's how it's said by another writer. The world is unprincipled. It's dog eat dog out there. The world doesn't fight fair, but we don't live or fight our battles that way. Never have and never will. The tools of our trade aren't for marketing or manipulation, but they're for demolishing that entire, massively corrupt culture. We use our powerful God tools for smashing warped philosophies, tearing down barriers erected against the truth of God, fitting every loose thought and emotion and impulse into the structure of life shaped by Christ. Our tools are ready at hand for clearing the ground of every obstruction and building lives of obedience into maturity. It's pretty cool, isn't it? See, revitalize the national park of our minds by reintroducing the apex predator to all negatives, which is the Word of God, which is truth, which is love, which is light. Whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. And the world will try to tell you you're weak if you talk like that. Talking about love and light and truth and peace and all that. That's not weakness. There's nothing at all stronger than that. That's the whole reason people go to war is because they want peace. Doesn't make any sense, I mean, it's crazy stuff. If we want to advance in life or simply take back our lives or take back the part of our life that seems to have been munched away, we have to think about what we're thinking about. That's how we control our self-talk and hone our believing. Did you know you can tell if you're mental or you're emotional environment, your personal Yellowstone, is in healthy balance? How would you tell? How could you tell if you're in balance or not? By your speech, by the words that you speak. Also actions, right? Because some people are good at lying, you see. So then words don't mean anything. But actions always tell. Always tell. Like a politician. No matter what they say, what have they done? You know? What have they done? You know, they're all in somebody's pocketbook. See, sadly. You see, just listen to your words and take notice of your actions. You know, does it sound good or does it sound rotten? Does it look good or is it rotten behavior? It's not that hard, folks. If you really had a good friend, or if your spouse was a good friend of yours, they can help you. You know, they can help. Sometimes we just get so used to being negative that it seems comfortable. I had a job one time I complained about, and everywhere I talked to, I complained to everybody about this job over and over and over and over. Finally, I was sick of myself. And I thought, what advice would I give anybody else? The advice would be to quit the job. So I did. Then I was happy. You know, here's a quote. We are what our thoughts have made us. So take care about what you think. Words are secondary. Thoughts live. They travel far. Swami Vivekananda. There's truth in there. Here's another one. Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. Benjamin Franklin. Here's another one. Whatever words we utter should be chosen with care, for people will hear them and be influenced by them for good or ill. Buddha. Is that truth? Yeah. Like it or not. Here's the last one. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King Jr. I was thinking how silence can deafen the soul at times. Can numb the soul. To not say something that we should say. Sometimes it's a positive. You see somebody, man, it's great to see you today. Or you think about somebody, you give them a call. You send them a text. Shoot them an email. You know, Facebook them. Whatever. You see, and here's a rather graphic rendering of Jesus challenging certain religious leaders. And they just told him and the people around him that he was possessed. That he was possessed. And they were once again trying to turn people against him and their words were trying to get him to doubt himself and to shut up. And you don't think people do that to you? Try to get you to doubt? Because they want that sale. They want that job. Some people will do anything to get ahead of you. Well, they wanted to get ahead of Jesus. You see, Jesus was not easy to manipulate. And so Matthew 12, 34 through 37, also from the Message, says, you have minds like a snake pit. How do you suppose what you say is worth anything when you're so foul-minded? It's your heart, not the dictionary, that gives meaning to your words. A good person produces good deeds and words season after season. An evil person is a blight on the orchard. Let me tell you something. Every one of these careless words is going to come back and haunt you. There will be a time of reckoning. Words are powerful. Take them seriously. Words can be your salvation. Words can also be your damnation. You think he understood the power of words? Oh, yeah. Should we? Oh, yeah. It's all we got, folks. How else do you reason anything without words? I love how he said, words are powerful, take them seriously. See, words control our personal ecosystems. Power words, once reintroduced into our personal Yellowstones, will begin to set things right inside our hearts and minds. And aggressive action or purposeful deeds will always follow the reintroduction of top thoughts. Action will always follow if it's true. The roller coaster effect. And this ability to change the course of our lives is not easy, folks. We've all tried to better ourselves through exercise, diet, education, or surrounding ourselves with, excellent people. But so often we relapse into that same person we tried to change. At times, life is like a roller coaster. While waiting in that seemingly everlasting line, we anticipate the ride. Now, they plan a long wait for roller coasters. Parks design it that way because they want that anticipation there. And we talk about the impending journey with all the people around us. And we envision the fun, the thrills, and we hope for some amazing reward from this ride. We strap in, the bar comes down, our hearts begin to beat. We start our uphill ascent slowly, click, 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 click. And we don't know exactly when, but we hit what seems to be the top, and all of a sudden the bottom falls out, and we're in a freaky free fall, pulling G's that eclipse even a space launch. Some laugh, some are in utter terror, and others raise their hands to heighten the sensation of helplessness. And then there's a few more little bumps and twists and turns, and before you know it, the ride slows down and we're right back where we started. Right back where we started. What just happened? We feel different inside. We feel like we accomplished something, yet we're right back where we started. And still alive, like someone said. See, we feel different inside, yet we're still at the same place. Now, that's the roller coaster effect. That's what we're battling here, folks. Will Rogers said, chaotic action is preferable to orderly inaction, or preferable. Chaotic action is preferable to orderly inaction, Will Rogers. See, this is the nature of man out of balance, but we can change our outcome by changing the words that we allow in. It's hard work, folks. It's leading captive every crisis, every thought to the obedience of Christ. Romans 7, we're going to read 17 through 24 from the Message. 17, Romans 7. But I need something more. For if I know the law, but still can't keep it, and if the power of sin keeps me sabotaging my best intentions, I obviously need help. I realize that I don't have what it takes. I can will it, but I can't do it. I decide to do good, but I don't really do it. I decide not to do bad, but then I do it anyway. My decisions, such as they are, don't result in actions. Something has gone wrong deep within me and gets the better of me every time. It happens so regularly that it's predictable. The moment I decide to do good, sin is there to trip me up. I truly delight in God's commands, but it's pretty obvious that not all of me joins in that delight. Parts of me covertly rebel, and just when I least expect it, they take charge. I've tried everything and nothing helps. I'm at the end of my rope. Is there no one who can do anything for me? Isn't that the real question? The answer, thank God, is that Jesus Christ can and does. He acted to set things right in this life of contradictions where I want to serve God with all my heart and mind, but I'm pulled by the influence of sin to do something totally different. That was Paul saying that. Not many greater humans ever walked the earth than Paul. Talk about a transformation from a murderer to this, but he still had that battle. We all do. It's like something just keeps trying to pull you back down, pull you down. We sabotage ourselves. Why? That's the battle, folks. And the only answer is truth, light, love, Christ. Let's get off that endless roller coaster by controlling the words we allow in our minds. Now, in closing, how powerful are our words to ourselves? See, Jesus knows the power of words. And if our words can shape the heavens, they surely should be able to shape our lives. Wouldn't you say? If your words can literally shape the heavens, don't you think they can shape your life or reshape it? I'm telling you, this is not complex. It's just hard because it goes against the course of the world, which we feel like is built into us. It's just trained into us. Matthew 18 through 20. Jesus is talking. Take this most seriously. A yes on earth is a yes in heaven. A no on earth is a no in heaven. What you say to one another is eternal. I mean this. When two of you get together on anything at all on earth and make a prayer of it, my Father in heaven goes into action. And when 2 or 3 of you are together because of me, you can be sure that I'll be there. That's a lot of, that's a big fat claim there. A yes on earth is a yes in heaven? You think our words make a difference? What about what we say to ourselves all day long? Does that make a difference? Oh yeah. If it's bad, stop it. Stop it. If you're always negative about something, from politics to whatever, to your job, stop it. What is the point? What can we do that's positive, that's going to change something? Not just make us more miserable. See, it's quite a thing to say. Give yourself permission to prosper. Give yourself permission for health, for love. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Do your best to make your goal happen, and the entire power of the universe, the supremacy of the heavens, will rain down upon you. You are rainmakers, folks. You have dominion over this whole place. Live it, love it, do it. Keep sending in the word. Keep reintroducing those positives. Keep piling on the truth, light, love, goodness, greatness into your mind. And those words are going to eradicate what doesn't need to be there. And they're going to allow what's really supposed to grow up in your hearts and minds to grow. It works. If it works in nature, it works in us. It works. You know, what are some alpha thoughts in Scripture? There's a lot. Like, I can do all things through Christ. Big fat claim. It's a good one, right? God will do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think. You know, according to his power that worketh in us. That's pretty big. You see, no good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly. No good thing will he withhold. There's nothing withheld from you. God is love. That's pretty good. God dwells in us. That's pretty good. God is light, and in him is no darkness at all, which would mean judgment, right? My God shall supply all your need according to his riches and glory. That's a good one. You see? I mean, that's how we hammer back the enemy that's within us, is we just keep putting the top predator, the top thoughts, God's thoughts, truth, love, light, power into our minds, and they become the dominant thought. And you'll know when you're talking about that and not pissing and moaning about somebody else, even if it's popular. You know, Jesus Christ said, "It is written." And that's what helped him back down the enemy directly. You see? Now, if you don't like verses, some of you don't. I'm too old to memorize verses anymore. Okay, that's cool. I don't care. You know, what about a piece of a verse? Like power or awesome, you know, or brave or compatible. Or how about energetic? How about fair? You know, how about generous, honest? I mean, those are just little power words. We made up a bunch of these little coasters, and we put power words on there, prosper. And I love that, because every day I'll put a different one down, and I think about that during the day. It's just power words. It's still the word. So if you can't do a whole verse anymore, do one word. I don't care. God could care less. It doesn't matter, whatever works for you. You see? Figure out the whole alphabet if you want. X is the hard one. Only word I could find for X that was positive, it was Xenian, and which means hospitable. Xenian. So that's a hard one. You know, so see, we unleash the power of the universe by releasing top thoughts into our minds and hearts. And so, you know, nobody had to teach the wolves to be wolves. Nobody had to teach the wolves to be wolves. Nobody has to teach, you don't have to teach the positive thoughts to do their work. They will do the work in your mind. They will do it for you. Even while you're sleeping, they're working. If you got enough of them in there. The enemy has to back off when the light shows up. Truth will do the preliminary work for you. Keep introducing them pack after pack after pack. Now there's 100 packs. I think it started off with 4. Now there's 100 packs in Yellowstone. Pretty soon they'll have to have the true apex predator, you know, to help control that. You know, but we won't talk about that. And so you see, they're going to find that, you know, we want these, they're going to find the corners of our psyche that they need to reclaim. They're going to do their particular job in their particular spot of your heart and mind. It works, folks. They'll keep backing the enemy deeper and deeper. We're never going to fully eradicate the enemy in this life, but we can keep him at bay. We can keep him back from nibbling down all the good garden of your soul. So that butterflies and songbirds abound instead of mosquitoes and thorns. You see, today we saw how the reintroduction of special power words, apex thoughts, reintroduced into our personal ecosystems will allow us to believe and regain our original and rightful turf. There's a lifestyle that God designed for each of us. And it's different for each of us. So the words that work for me aren't going to work for you. They may, but they may not. You know, find your personal apex thoughts. See, once these specific words are set free into our inner awareness in their proper amounts, they will change the environment of our brains. We can change the environment of our hearts and lives for the better by the reintroduction of top thoughts. God bless.